caves and double doors. It's a heavy stack that way. Vanity's about to have his hands full. He's got 2, 21 HP. Is he expecting a third? Oh, it doesn't matter. He lands it anyway. Wow. Fourth, and he does just that.
Hey everyone, today we're here for another agent guide presented by Microsoft. Today's guide will be Viper on Breeze. Let's get started. I think the biggest strength that Viper has on Breeze over the other controllers is their ability to cut sights in half versus other controllers don't really have the capabilities to do something like this. If you're playing another controller, your smokes are going to be a lot more awkward somewhere around these areas, but it just makes the map a lot more random, whereas Viper helps lead to some forms of consistency. I think Viper is the go-to controller on Breeze because of the layout of the map. It's really big. It's a lot bigger than most of the maps in Valorant. The sights are really, really open, so your typical smoke agents don't have as much success on them because there's so much room for people to play around where you can't control everything. Whereas Viper, you have like such a large wall. It helps you control the chaos a little bit more. The main benefits that Viper has, obviously her wall. You can't control the bumps, like B bomb site, nearly as well with any other smoke agents as you can because of just how much room there is. Her smoke isn't that useful on this map towards the B site. A lot of players tend to just throw it on the bomb and then they'll combo that with like a snake bite when people are defusing to help kill the bomb diffuser. But apart from that, her kit's pretty good. Her ultimate on this map is a little awkward on attack. It has value, but it's not as good as it is on the defensive side of the map. Okay, so let's talk about attack side first. I think going A when you're playing Viper is a lot easier than going B. There's a lot less variables that go into it, and I think one of the better ways to do it is a wall similar to this. And I like to do a smoke that goes here. You come to the pillar, you aim at this thing, and you run until you hit like the middle of the door. And then you have pressure on the entire side of the map over here. And I think her kit allows for a lot of like manipulation within the rounds. Some of the better agents that pair with Viper are Sky and Sova. I think like the ability to cut off the bomb site and then use the info gathering like abilities that Sky and Sova both have is pretty strong. Like, so a lot of teams will like to do a wall similar to this and they'll bring their Sky player here and they'll just dog the close angles. And then the bomb site is relatively easy to take. I think that's one of the strongest synergies in the meta right now. So after you've cleared all of the close area with the Sky or Sova drone, I think one of the better spots to plant is here. It's one of the easier spots to throw lineups for. The other place that is planted is here typically. They're both lineup spots are relatively easy, so it's not a big deal if you can't plant in the spot. So once you've planted the spike on the Viper, I like to personally just leave the bomb site, leave it planted, and then I have lineups from back in the spawn area. I think this is pretty crucial. If you aim at this leaf and just shoot it, it'll land on this area. This is pretty strong comboed with the smoke because they'll die relatively fast within the smoke because of the vulnerability. So if you come into this hallway on Viper and you plant it on the right side of sight, you see this little I don't know, it looks like a fruit or something. I'm not really sure what it is, but I just aim at this and click. As long as your back is on this wall and you see this, it'll land in the same spot every time. I think the best Viper ult on this map is the one that's around here. I think it gives you a little bit more room to play around with the ability to go through the middle of the site also. There's not a lot of room, but it's better than some of the alternative options for ulting on attack. I think ulting on A is a lot more simple to get to than B. I think the A ult's also stronger, so I think most of the time ulting on A and Viper makes more sense. So the other wall that people typically like to do is they'll do something similar to just walking up to this area. They'll have like a Sova or a Sky dog out or drone. The Viper, typically if you're going B, you don't want to wall until you're like committing to the site. So your wall should be like this, and then you guys are all going out while the wall is like popping. I think it's okay to like pre-place this wall, but it's a lot more telegraphed, and a lot of people will just run to the wall if they see it on B early because there's not much variability within like the B wall. It's kind of has like one purpose, whereas the other walls in the map have a little bit more use throughout the round, but the B wall doesn't have a lot of use compared to the other ones. So the area that I like to plant is right here, and then after that I'll typically leave the bomb site and let my teammates try to stay alive as long as they can. When the timer starts getting down, I usually like to come here. You aim at the right side of the hinge and you go up above the box a little bit, and then you left click, and it should land on the spike. It's really strong compared to the smoke. Same thing as on the other pump site. It just makes them get vulnerable and take a lot more damage. You can still stop people defusing without the smoke, but it's not as reliable. I think the biggest thing for taking the B bomb site on Breeze is having a Sova and a Jet. I think those two have a lot of synergy with Viper on this map. The Sova can just drone, and then the Jet can throw a smoke and dash into it, while the Sova is hopefully tagging somebody, and then it should be a relatively easy site take for the attackers. So the wall I do for mid is I'll ping the door area, aim at it, and then just go a little bit above and left click, and it should also cover the door along with helping your team take the middle area of the map. It looks similar to this. It's pretty good for going into mid doors. And you can also see it covers halls, so it allows you to have map control over multiple parts of the map. I think one of the stronger things to do with this wall is just trying to get a kill throughout the mid area. I think with an op, it's pretty strong. I think people get caught off guard pretty easily through this area of the map because people just like don't believe it's real. Pretty much the only piece of utility that I'll use in mid is my wall. Sometimes I'll throw a smoke, but most of the time it's just a wall through mid to help pressure the defenders. My preferred bomb site to play on Viper is B. I like to do a wall similar to this, and then I'll start here. I'll throw a smoke in this area so I have complete control over this general area of the map. If you use the smoke and wall instantly, it kind of scares the attackers. Like maybe they don't really know what you're doing. Maybe you're pushing mid, maybe you're not. And then just always having the smoke on this area of the map is really strong because it deters people from coming out. With this wall, sometimes I like to walk push around this area and just drop the wall randomly, and maybe you can get like a kill or two because you'll catch people like just sitting in the back. So my favorite setup on Viper on A defense is coming to the front of the bomb site and throwing a wall like this. And then I'll either throw my smoke in this area so I can pop it when they're coming in and run around. And it kind of like deters them from just running to the middle of the bomb site. Or the other one I like to do is in the entrance of the aim in. This one just blocks them from like their vision, like the sky dog or something. The mid wall, it's the same thing as the one from B. It kind of just like deters them from feeling like they have the middle of the map for free. If I see the Viper wall that a lot of people like to do, the one that comes to the middle of the side like this, I like to put my smoke in the entrance. And then when they'll put their wall up, I'll put my smoke up, so it's deterring them from coming through. If you hear like a dog or a drone, it's good to throw a molly in the smoke, so it's a lot harder for them to get out. They can still get out, but it just makes them take damage. On the B side, I like to start around this area and listen. A lot of teams, if they come fast B, you'll hear them make noise and they'll start Sova droning instantly. I think it's pretty important to get a molly off into the smoke, and then you can just run away like this and hopefully break the drone and not get tagged. But it's pretty strong for Vipers to play around this area with their mollies. Usually I won't have very many mollies left when they're in B, but if you do end up having one, it's pretty strong to throw one off this back wall. There's not really like a lineup, there's a slanted wall, just throw it off of it and it'll help clear out this area. So if I'm playing A and I get pushed off, I have a rough lineup from around this area of the map. If you aim at about the height of this and run throw, it'll bounce and hit the normal plant spot that a lot of people like to use. It's pretty strong. Now in this segment presented by Microsoft, let's talk about retakes. I think one of the stronger retake walls for the B site is something like this. It cuts off all of like the backside vision, and then if you have your smoke in this area, when you do this, it kind of isolates like the entire attacker side unless they're up close, but a lot of people tend to huddle around these back areas, and it allows your team to come out in this area and clear relatively everything, and then the smoke thing can go down. You can throw, if you have a molly, maybe it's good to throw back here, and then you're going to be forced into your team in your crosshair. On retakes on the A bomb site, I use this wall. I'll throw it at the beginning of the round, and then after they take it, I can pop the wall and we can start clearing the site together. It's pretty good to have a majority of your team come through this area so they can clear the front part of the site, and then you can use your mollies if you have them to clear like back here, and you can force them into your teammates' crosshairs. After this, you have to like let your wall recharge, hopefully, and then you can put it up again before you start defusing. So I don't think Viper herself should be fighting mid very much, but I think walls similar to this can help your team a decent amount. I don't think it's super consistently good, but every now and then, it's not the end of the world to do. It gives your team a lot of space. They can clear all the way to the pillar here. You can go through it, and it's the same thing in elbow. You can just, it like separates this, and then you can drop the wall, and you can maybe take some fights behind it. I think Viper is better used towards the bomb sites though, and this is not a consistent thing you should be doing. I think most of the time you're playing Breeze, you'll end up to be playing against another Viper, and I think one of the most important things is maintaining your poison gas. If your utility's on the same side as theirs, it's important not to leave them both up at the same time, because they'll just wait yours out and then put theirs up, and then you're kind of stuck alone. I think lineups are pretty useful, but I think in a pro level game, it's kind of hard to consistently get value out of them because you're not always going to be in like the same general area. It's important to just understand how like the throw strength of like the mollies and things work like that. I think it's pretty important on Viper to not only be reliant on your lineups. I think it's important to be able to just like maybe you get stuck in a spot you're not used to and be able to peek and throw your Molotov on the bomb. I think it's pretty undervalued, and I think it's something that a good Viper player does. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the Viper tips on Breeze. I think she's one of the strongest agents in the map, and she will continue to be. Let us know in the comments below which agent you'd like to see and on what map. Be sure to like and subscribe, and thanks again for watching.